Hi everyone! So today I wanted to talk about what's called indirect preparation. So a lot of our lessons involve components in them that perhaps you wouldn't think the child was ready for, but that we will still present as part of the lesson because later it will make sense. So it's kind of appealing to that idea of the 6 to 12-year-old child as moving to more abstract thoughts. So we're going to put some kind of concrete pictures of things in place so that when they learn a particular term, they have a picture to attach it to in their mind. So one of the best materials I think that shows this indirect preparation is the bead chains, or are the bead chains. And they do have these in preschool as well. And they range, there's a bead chain of 1 right up to 10, and there's the short bead chains and the long bead chains, and they're very kind of well-known Montessori material, and they look really beautiful in the classroom often. So today I bought the long bead chain of 2 with me. So I'll kind of show you how it's used first. So you lay the bead chain out, and then there's these little number tags that are in little containers, and you work with the child and you label it. So the first group, and we put 1, 2, and then what we start doing is we start skip counting. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we also have little squares that we put out when we lay the bead chain out. So if we put these two together, we can see it makes a square. So whenever our bead chain makes a square, we're going to put a little 2 squared out. And again, we can see it makes a square again, so we put another square. And at the end, if we added our 2 squares together, it would make a cube. So we put a cube at the end. And the presentation of the bead chain, so you might just count it in 2s first. So 2, 4, 6, 8. You might count it backwards, 8, 6, 4, 2. You might say to the child, can you point to the number 5? Which means they would have to know the number before, and there's no label for 5, so they just have to know that. You might say, oh, what is 2 groups of 2? Or things like that. So you can play lots of games with it. And of course, this is a really short one, but most of them are massive. So the long ones go up to the cube of the number, and the short ones just go up to the square. So the 10 chain goes up to 100 groups of 10, so it's 1,000 in total. So that is a huge work and takes up the whole room. So you can see this is quite boring, but when you have a big chain, there's lots more games to play. But you can see that we're starting to bring in squared numbers, and this is with 6-year-olds. This is pretty cool. And I'm going to admit that until I discovered Montessori, and I saw, oh my gosh, that's what 2 squared can look like. It can make a square, or it can make a cube. So this just blew my mind when I discovered this material. And so we wouldn't necessarily talk about, how mathematicians notate it or the idea of squaring and cubing, but we're presenting it. And so when we get up to it, we can go, hey, you always put those squares down the bead chain with the cubes. That is actually called squared numbers, and we might show them how to notate it. And the same with cube numbers. So I just think this is a really great kind of example of how we're doing indirect preparation in Montessori. So we're indirectly preparing them to do squaring and cubing one day. I'll work with those numbers just through doing a little bead chain, and this also indirectly prepares the child for multiplication because you're doing skip counting, number sequencing. There's just so many places it goes. So this is often the case of a lot of the Montessori materials. They're indirectly preparing for other skills as well. So I hope you enjoy.